Oh, breathe on me, O breath of God. Fill me with life anew, that I may love the things you love and do what you would do. Oh, breathe on me, O breath of God, until my heart is pure, until my will is one with yours, to do and to endure. Oh, breathe on me, O breath of God, my will to yours incline, until this selfish part of me glows with your fire divine. Oh, breathe on me, O breath of God, so shall I never die, but live with you the perfect life of your eternity. We are really nothing without God's breath, right? We are so reliant on God for everything, for wisdom and for life, for understanding, for purpose, for strength, for peace, for comfort, for fill in your adjective here. Today's passage is very short in Matthew, but we're gonna fumble around a little bit and join it with some others. This is in the middle of Matthew 13. Jesus is talking about the kingdom, and he's talking about parables. And this particular passage, he says, Matthew reports, Jesus said all these things to the crowds in parables. He had just given the parable of the weeds and the parable of the soil and the farmers. So he spoke all these things to the crowds in parables, and he spoke them only in parables. This was to fulfill what the prophet spoke. I'll speak in parables. I'll declare what has been hidden since the beginning of the world. And that references Psalm 78, which I have over here on my left. Listen, my people, to my teaching. Tilt your ears toward the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth with a proverb. I'll declare riddles from days long gone, ones that we've heard and learned about, ones that our ancestors told us. We won't hide them from their descendants. And it goes on and walks a little bit through some history of Israel. In Ephesians, Paul talks about the mystery of grace, the mystery of the gospel, the mystery, the things hidden. Here it is in chapter 3. Paul says in verse 9, God sent me to reveal the secret plan that had been hidden since the beginning of time by God, who created everything. God's purpose is now to show the rulers and powers in the heavens the many different varieties of his wisdom through the church. And he goes on to say that wisdom is manifest in the church, in the Holy Spirit unifying the church. And there's a sense in these writings, and even in Matthew yet, that part of that mystery is, and maybe it's language differences, right? I'm not sure that we would talk about it the same way in terms of our syntax, but that there has been an overall plan. There's an overall thing that God is trying to accomplish, and the study Bible that I read here off to my left kind of says the riddle might be the people looking around going, how does our fumbling and failures and all of our problems lead to whatever great thing God is aiming for? Well, I think that's a reasonable question. I think Paul is really getting at the secret that this whole thing, and of course it's not a secret because it's stated this way from the very beginning. But in terms of how people thought about it, it was lost a bit in the mindset that this wasn't just for the cultural people of God, that this was for the whole world, Gentiles and Jews both. And that there is a mystery, there is sort of a secret hidden plan where these two groups, as if there were only two, but that's just the worldview of the time, that would come together, and all would come together under Christ. That part of the secret plan that's being revealed. And I think in Matthew, Jesus is aiming toward, and we're going to find out in the next several chapters, aiming toward Gentile inclusion. He hasn't been there yet in Matthew. As Matthew tells the story, he's telling it to Hebrew people primarily, and so he's emphasizing the parts of Jesus' ministry where Jesus kind of did that shift. I'm coming first for my people, for the people of God, and then we're gonna, in my words, loop in everybody else, and so I think we're going there. And so there is this mystery, or this hidden thing, or there is this secret, and the secret is that God's grace and mercy really are bigger, that our plans would be bigger than maybe we thought they would be, and in the end, Jesus had already said in what we have looked at in Matthew that one of the purposes of parables is you have to want to listen, you have to want to hear, you have to have open eyes in order to understand it, and so breathe on me, O breath of God. God, would you fill me with your wisdom, with your strength, with your knowledge, with your love, with your everything, so that I can understand. Would that maybe be our prayer today? Amen.